Welcome. Thank you for joining and welcome to the Lucy Robbins Wells Library Board of Trustees December meeting. Appreciate y'all trying to sign on a little early. That's nice for us to get started. Gail, I'm going to pass it over to you for roll call so people can unmute. When she calls out your name. Thanks.
Anna. Here. Laurel. I think I heard, did Laurel say yes?
Yes, Laurel's here.
Okay. All right. Lisa Jones, I believe I heard was with Laurel.
Yes.
Pauline. Is Pauline there?
See her.
I've not seen her yet either. Keep going. We'll see if she joins later.
Iris.
She's there.
Okay. Beth Livingston.
Yes.
I can see it. Yeah.
She is there?
Yes.
Okay. Maureen.
Here.
LeeAnn.
Yes, here.
Pam.
Here.
Neil.
Here.
Diane, I know you're there. Christine.
Here.
Lisa Masten, Karen Benner, heard both of you. Dave Nagel.
Yes.
Here.
Chris Miner. Is Chris there?
I thought I saw him signed in earlier.
I'm hearing something that's a little blurry, but maybe it is him.
I think
And
it is
who's
him.
from
He was in.
and from the Friends, is Sheila there? Or
Yes.
anybody from the Friends?
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm here.
Sheila. All right. Okay, that's it. Nobody, I think everybody else. Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Heather, I don't know if we have anyone from the public on. This is the time when I normally invite somebody to for public participation.
Oh, Pauline Crook. She.
Pauline is a member of the board. Is she?
Move her over.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Hi, Pauline. Welcome. So is there anybody else out there in public participation land?
As of right now, I don't see anyone calling in.
Okay, great. Then we'll move on to town council liaison. Dave, I'm going to go to you first because it sounded like Chris had some audio issues.
Okay, not much to report. Unfortunately, as of last Tuesday, our town manager informed us that we are still in the same state in terms of the town and providing services or not, unless something has changed between now and then. That, of course, will be re-looked at as time goes on. Also, the town council voted not to have a meeting later this month, so we will not be formally meeting until the 14th of January next year. There are some unrelated but related things to the library, maybe that you might be interested in. Two that I can think of is that the parking lot is new parking lot on the west side of the town hall. It's going to take a little longer than was thought, and if you you can see that there is a great, not a lot of room to park. I realize other staff has been given other options as to where to park for the time being. It's one of the few good things about COVID that there isn't the mass, a lack of room rather than there had been. But that is coming along, slow but sure, to be continued. And also, I don't know if it affected the library at all, but you may have noticed white pipes coming out of the drainage sections of the new town hall. That has all been rectified, and the new town hall drainage has been hooked to the main MDC connection, which the old town hall had, so water will flow in the other direction away from the library if it ever was an issue. And those pipes, if they haven't been removed, will be removed in case you're curious. I'm sure Chris and I can answer anything else. I hope Chris now is able to be heard if you have any questions for us. If not, I believe that's it.
Okay, thank you very much for that. It's hard to hear the news because I know the parking lot, even though we're in COVID, it's still very highly used. And with our curbside pickup, we have a lot of traffic in that area. So we hope for the best.
Dave,
Chris,
this is Maureen.
yes.
Any information on the facilities report?
We have, the council is yet to receive the document or a summary of it. And we're all really frustrated, including the town manager, in terms of getting that on board. So there is nothing new to report at this particular time, unfortunately.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
And I'll ask once again for Chris, if he's got anything. I'll give him a moment to chime in.
No, I think Dave covered everything for now.
Okay, great. Thanks, Chris. All right, then. Secretary's report. We'll move on to Iris Larson.
She's muted.
Iris, can you unmute? There you go.
You're muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we
Mhm.
can.
Okay, I believe the board knows that Lynn Cayley retired, and I sent a card out wishing her all the best in her retirement.
Great. Thank you, Iris. Appreciate that. Okay, approval of minutes would be the next item on the agenda. Does anybody have any comments or corrections on the minutes? No? I have a few that are more typos than anything else. If we went to page 4, it's the second paragraph again before the assistant library director's report. And the second line in the second to the last paragraph should read library ready for browsing, not library read for browsing. Again, like I said, it's minor. And then on page 5, the first paragraph under the review, chapter 6, CLB. Let's see, the PEP committee will review this draft evaluation and share it with the board. I don't know what I had in there. I had, oh, I'm sorry, it's the second paragraph down. No, I'll take that back. We have much better to comprehend instead of much easier to comprehend. Maybe, I'm not sure what was said or how that went through. Minor, as I said, minor corrections. Anybody else?
Diane, where is that again? Diane, where is that again? This is Gail. Where is that again on page 5?
On
Where
page
you looking?
5, let me go back.
Sorry.
On page 5, the second full paragraph, second to the last line,
Started-
much better to comprehend, much easier to comprehend. Could be there.
Yeah. Okay. And on page 4, let me see that again. That was
On page
read.
library ready for browsing appointments only.
Where do you see?
So the paragraph starts with Diane commented, and then
Oh, okay.
the second
It's really
line down.
Oh, ready.
yep,
Okay, I see
library
it.
ready.
I couldn't see that. Okay, sorry. Thank you.
No problem.
Easy mistake. Read.
Right. Does anyone else have any comments or corrections on the notes or the minutes from last month? No, then I would entertain a motion to accept the minutes as amended.
I move that we accept the minutes as corrected.
Thank you, Maureen. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, you have your choice of LeeAnn and Anna. They were both quick off the mark there. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Any
Aye.
opposed?
I have to abstain. I wasn't at the meeting.
Thank you, Neil. Okay, motion carries. Thank you. Review of annual activities committee. These reviews are different in the year 2021, but what we usually have on the list for December is the 5K race, and we'll talk about that when we get to the race area. The library budget is usually happening in December. We also usually update the website with next year's meeting dates and times and the schedule time when we go through that. I think it has to, normally Lynn or now Jen would schedule that with the town clerk. And then we also usually get involved in the, or get started with the process to do the evaluation for the director. And I know that those will be coming up under the different committee headings. Does anybody have any questions? No? Okay, looking ahead to January, I
Diane?
think, yes,
Diane, can I interrupt you for just 1 second?
yes.
Laurel is also on the public participation site and cannot interject. So I don't know if there's something that we can do to
Heather, can
support
you move
moving over.
Laurel Goodgen over from public to board member?
I'm sorry, which slide did you want?
I'm asking to, evidently one of our board members, Laurel Goodgen, is in under the
Attendees.
attendees rather than a trustee. So if you could
Okay.
move her over, that would help.
You should be all set.
Okay, Laurel, you should be good now. So you can unmute and mute at will. Laurel, I'll give you a moment since you just came on board. Was there something you needed to add at this point?
Yes, I wanted to commend LeeAnn for getting in a corral all the insurance that we have for the library, and that we now are fully with directors and officers insurance. Thank you very much. I know you did a lot of work on that. It was nice to see it coming up for renewal.
Okay. Thank you. And thank you, LeeAnn. That will lead us right into the treasurer's report with none other than LeeAnn Manke.
Oh, goody. Thank you, Laurel. The report I sent out to you last week pretty much stands the same. Santander, we had contributions were pretty slim in November, but we had a little bit trickle in from the Ready, Set, Go, a couple memorial donation, a small general donation, and the Amazon Smile shop for the holidays. That does pay off. I think I went in there, and so far I think we're up to like $140 has come to us from Amazon. Every little bit helps. So certainly keep it up. The expenses, we had basically the usual typical subscription expenses, etc. Though we did have some expenses. The board, such as it was, the staff did have a retirement get-together celebration for Lynn, so we covered those costs. And also there was some reopening costs that items that had to be purchased for reopening that we stocked. So that was in there. We did have an adult program we had out that was a virtual program. Our programming costs are way down this year, obviously because of COVID, but so the costs were down. Our balance at the end of November was $20,685.82. That as of last Friday, our balance was at $18,616.85, which is a little different from what your report that I sent to you out, because I met with the accountant, I picked up the taxes, all the filings are done, and I paid him, and that's a $2,000 bill. But all our big expenses.
Excuse me, it's Gail. Excuse me, LeeAnn, it's Gail. 18,000, what was it again?
18,616.85.
Thank you, sorry.
Yep, we had other small bills, but primarily most of that is the accountant's bill. He actually, just for a reminder, our previous accountant used to charge us $3,000. So we're doing pretty well, and I'm very pleased with the filings. I do have the financial statements and the all the filings that we put into the IRS. They are on file electronically at the library. Jen has them. and Diane has them, and they are on the treasurer's computer. So they are out and about, plus we have paper copies. So that is done. Very glad for that to be done. And the computer is back in our possession and all the files. I will be doing the 1099s for subcontractors after the first of the year, and then we should be set tax-wise for a bit. Money market, that particular account is holding its own. There's not, of course, the bottom dropped out of interest rates, but we're at $106,965.57. And the restricted funds that are in the Santander money market, which is something we can access right away if we need to, is at $7,996.91. As I said, I picked up the insurance, and the money market that I mentioned where the insurance, the interest rates are so low, Dean Spada from Kingston is going to do a review to see if we can find a better vehicle to earn something but keep us relatively protected with those funds. Then we have the restricted and unrestricted fund breakdown. And that's about all I have.
Great. Thank you, LeeAnn. Does anyone have any questions for LeeAnn? Okay. Moving along, we'll go to the director's report. Lisa Masten, please.
Hi, everyone. I have a short report, which is good. We are Lucy to Go same day service is extremely popular with our patrons, and a lot of people are actually choosing to do it that way rather than we do have some scheduling for next day or during the week, but typically a lot of people are doing same day. On Monday morning when I went in last Monday morning, there were like 10 pickups for Monday morning, which is very low, but by the end of the day we'd done 91. So people are using it, and they're really happy that they can get their items really quickly. So we're happy to do that, and they're happy that we're doing it for them. Maureen will talk about the budget, but we did get our budget instructions. So that's on our plate, and we are starting to work on that. The programming has been going well. It's definitely more popular to have pre-recorded programs, although Jeanette had a Zoom trivia program Friday night, and I think she had like 28 people. So that was good. The really popular things are the grab and go kits for children's, teens, and adults. Every time we have one, typically we max out on how many we can give. So people are looking for things to do, and it's something fun. The children's are especially popular, but the adult numbers are ticking up, and same with the teens. Children's does have a program I just wanted to mention. I brought it up on my screen. They're doing a virtual Zoom program called Turning Pages, and it's a professional dance professional from the Ballet Theater Company who does a movement-focused storytelling experience, and that's coming on December 23rd. So that sounds like it's pretty fun, and people just register and they'll get a Zoom link for that. And we are working on our next newsletter, which normally we do a 3-month newsletter for November, December, January, but because of COVID, we only did 2 months. So we had our newsletter goes through the end of December. So we're working on our January, February newsletter. That should be upcoming. Holiday scheduling. Next week, I can't believe next week we're getting into Christmas. But the library is going to be open Monday through Wednesday. Typically, we are closed on the 24th anyway. We have been closed since I've started working at the library. And Christmas is on a Friday this year, so we're closed on the 25th. We also will be closed on the 26th as well. But then when you get into the next week where we get into New Year's, the library will be open Monday through Wednesday. We always close at 5 on New Year's Eve. We'll be closed on New Year's Day, but we will be open on January 2nd, which is a Saturday. So that's the schedule there. And then just one thing I wanted to mention, we're having a horrible, horrible, horrible time with the Newington post office. Since the address change in September, half of our magazines are not making it to us. The post office keeps changing the address on them to 100 Garfield Road in West Hartford. So the magazines go there, and the company that we get the magazines from, I mean, the town did an address change. The company that we're working with keeps contacting the post office to tell them, and they keep changing it back. And the biggest challenge and the most frustrating thing is no one at the post office, they don't answer their phone. They don't get back to us. We've gone in personally to talk to something. We end up talking to someone. They say they'll give the information to a supervisor. They never get back to us. I called the Newington post office. The phone just rings. You can't leave a message. So I started calling Wethersfield to see if I could get a supervisor's name. Wethersfield wasn't answering their phone. I finally got someone in Rocky Hill who was wonderful. He gave us names. But he gave us 3 names, and he told us which order to go in. And the first 2 people have not gotten back to us. So, since September, we're not getting half our magazines that we're paying for. And it's very, very frustrating. And the worst part is the service at the post office. And when you go to their website, it's almost impossible to find a phone number, and also impossible to get an email to actually get somebody. So we're kind of at our wits' end as to what to do. So I'm just complaining because I don't know if anybody has any pull in that post office, but we certainly don't. And they're just, I don't know. I don't know what to do. So
Do we
that's
know
my
if we're
complaint.
missing any other mail? Have we been getting regular
I don't know.
bills
I mean,
and
we're getting
things?
some mail. I mean, we know about it because the person who lives there is getting the magazines, but I don't know. I mean, we are getting some mail, and with some companies, it's perfectly fine, but for some reason they keep changing the address back to West Hartford. And it is on the post office end. Yes.
Lisa, this is Gail. I used to have that issue with the chamber, and I ended up calling Hartford, and they got in touch with somebody for me.
Well, the problem is that we call the post office and they're not picking up their phones. I mean, I will, if you have someone, or you could find out somebody that I could talk to, I would appreciate it.
Yeah, the person I used to deal with in Hartford was named Tricia, but that was, 4 years ago, so I have no idea. But I had that same issue, and I ended up calling Hartford, and they finally got a hold of somebody at Newington.
Well, it sounds like Hartford oversees the post offices in the area, or they're part of Hartford, or that's what I was told from Rocky Hill. But I don't know. Maybe we are missing mail, and we just don't even know it. But I don't understand why they keep changing it back.
Lisa.
Yeah.
Can you consider going to the post office in person?
We did.
You did, okay.
Yep, we did. We did twice.
Okay. And
both times we were told the information was going to get to the supervisor, and then no one got back to us. We have done that.
Lisa, did they give you the supervisor's name?
At the Newington post office?
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, Diane, I think, has that, but then we got his supervisor's name. And we still have heard nothing. Well, also, they didn't answer their phone. So we're trying, but it's just really frustrating.
Lisa,
and it's a waste of our money.
I think we have to go down
Looks
to
like
Washington,
Pam wants to
DC
say
and
something.
see the postmaster head.
But they won't see, Iris, they don't come out and see you.
That's awful.
I had extensive problems with Newington, exactly what you're saying. I too, at one point, called Hartford, but I don't even think there's a number for Hartford anymore. I might think that you may have to reach out to a state rep, maybe reach out to Gary Turco and let him know what's going on, because I was at my wit's end. My mother's mail that gets forwarded now to South Carolina, she got a piece of mail today that got forwarded to her from Social Security, from the post to her, for a whole different person, in Milford. And it came to her, you know, not even her name, her address in Newington, and it got forwarded like it was to South Carolina. It wasn't even her mail.
Yeah, no, okay.
Is
So-
there anyone on the board who has good rapport with their mail delivery at their home that possibly they could talk to the postman and and explain to them the problem that we're having and perhaps get some inside information from him or her?
Yeah, this is Maureen. I don't know if this will help, but I have one of my best friends is a retired postmaster and operations manager for the post office. So I will ask her how to navigate this.
That'd be great.
And I'll
Thank you.
let you know, Lisa. Okay.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm all done, Diane. Sorry.
Okay.
I
thank
just,
you.
I just want to piggyback on Lisa's comments. I have not changed. Unfortunately, I had done a big check order earlier in the year. So a lot of our documents, our financial documents, have the old address prior to our getting changed to the 100 Garfield. The bank has told me we can still utilize them. And I think I'm going, some of our bills, so far, everything has been being received, but coming to the 95 Cedar. I don't know how long that order will continue.
It's 12 to 18 months, LeeAnn. That's what I was told
and pretty much everything that I am concerned of is first class mail. But so far I have not been missing anything, but the bank recommended that I hold off before I change anything with them because I have to physically go in and change this at the bank, and they're not looking for us to come into the lobby to do that. That's it.
Okay. Well, thank you, Maureen. Let's hope your contact can give us some guidance there. And I'm sorry, it seems like it's a simple thing and they should have a change of address able to go through, but we appreciate your perseverance on this. Next up would be the Assistant Library Director's report. Karen Benner.
Hi, I just have a few quick things. The RB Digital platform that we use to access ebooks, audiobooks, magazines, and various streaming services has been purchased by Overdrive. So what that really means to everybody looking at the web page is that starting today, all of the ebooks and the audiobooks will be accessed a little bit differently. The titles have migrated to this new platform, and they're available through the Libby app, which some of you might be familiar with. It is just ebooks and audiobooks right now. Their migration is, I think their plans for the magazines are maybe February, and then last will be things like Acorn TV. So when you go to the website, you know, we have information there. It's just going to look a little bit different, and you're going to just access it a little bit differently. Easier, you know, I think. And then in personnel news, so we filled 2 of our open full-time positions. So the circulation supervisor position that had been vacated by Sue Schneider when she relocated was filled by Katie Gontars. She was a part-time circulation person. She started last Thursday, I believe, in her position. And Katie received her master's in library science in the spring, Lisa, was that right?
Yeah, last April. Yep, last April.
And then the digital services librarian position that was Jen Hebert's old position has been filled by Victoria Bottaro. And she's another part-time person in collection management, circulation. And Victoria has kind of a neat background. She's been with us, I think she said 9 years, Lisa.
Yeah.
She started as a page. She worked as a circ substitute. Then she moved into a part-time position. And actually, Lisa and I remember when she was a teen coming to visit the teen department. So she started today.
And Victoria started an online MLS program, I think last spring, Karen, was it? Or in the summer?
Yeah. So there's a lot of training going on. All good things, though.
Well, it sounds like they certainly know what they're getting into if they've been in the library that long. So that speaks well of library management. Thank you, ladies.
And that's it.
I have a question, Karen. This is LeeAnn. I just wondered, or Lisa, perhaps you can direct me. When with Lynn leaving and Sue leaving, who is handling the memorial tracking?
Dorothy Russell.
Is that Jen, or is
No,
that
no?
Dorothy Russell.
Dorothy Russell.
Dorothy? Okay, because I've got to call her because I just want to. I'm not getting. For example, somebody gets it, and again, this is just a paperwork trail kind of thing. But when somebody leaves a memorial donation at the library, typically I have the contributor and then I have who they're in memory of, and I haven't been getting who they're in memory of.
Okay.
Okay. We'll straighten that out, LeeAnn. Okay.
Yep. Okay. Thank you.
Yep. And Karen, can I just add too that we are hiring we're looking to hire 2 part-time circulation people because both those people were promoted, and we're also looking to hire subs, right, as well.
Yeah, we actually just put some ads out today, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Any other questions for Karen? No, then we'll move along to Friends of the Library. Sheila, you were on earlier. Do you have any news?
Yeah,
for
I'm
us?
still here.
Great, thank you.
We've been getting together, trying to come up with some fundraising ideas. It's the Karma's Closet is doing fairly well. It's doing much better on the Friends program than the shelves are because it's very crowded in there. And I guess also from our donations, we have used up all the new books. So the books that we're putting out there are a little bit dated and not as well received, except for the children's. We've used up most of the children's stuff with the bags, and those have gone really, really well. So we just continue to look for different ways to facilitate some fundraising.
And Sheila, this is Diane. We don't have a way now to donate books to the Friends at this point, correct?
Not at this point. We have no space for them.
Okay.
Okay.
Or ability to sort them either.
That's what I was thinking. The ability to collect and sort would still be hampered. Does anybody else have questions for Sheila as part of the Friends?
This is one question. This is Neil. Did the Friends have a meeting this month, last week?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And Anna, were you there?
Neil, this is Anna. I attended that meeting
Okay.
for a short period of time. And I did pop in to watch one of their Karma's Closet sales. And it's between Deanna at Karma's Closet and Michelle, they really have it well organized, and they were moving through books like there was nobody's business. So it's a very creative way to run a book sale. We're all thinking outside the box.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you, Sheila. We'll move on to committee reports, and we'll start with budget with Maureen Lyons.
Lisa and Karen and Jen have been meeting and doing due diligence and some dry runs on how they're going to present the budget and, the various line items that they're looking at. They're looking at fixed costs to see where changes might be made. They're not going to touch the materials budget. It is a 0 increase again. And we have 2 full-time positions, and I think this has been mentioned in previous meetings, that will not be filled, but they're not being eliminated.
So they're in a holding pattern.
They're in abeyance for the moment. So the budget has to be submitted by January 8th. And Lisa, if you have anything to add, I do know that they've been, looking at it very carefully.
Yeah, as I was, whoops, am I muted now? As I was telling Maureen too, that we just did our first run through, and we just have to check some numbers to see if there's been any increases, and then kind of look at the overall numbers to see where we stand and make sure we're at that 0%. So that's kind of where we are. It's due on January 8th, I think. And yeah, so we're in decent shape. The biggest challenge is Lynn's not here. So we're going to do fine. That's what I keep saying. We're going to do fine, but it's fine. It will be good. We'll be all good.
You guys are pros by now.
Once the budget is submitted,
mm-hmm.
Then when do the meetings start? March?
No. Typically, the first meeting is at the end of, towards the end of January.
Oh, it's that early?
Yeah, the first meeting with the town manager. And then once they have that meeting, then they go back and really look at it. Because then I know that then they have to get it ready to just submit to the town council.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's going to be other changes, they have time to come back to us in February before it gets submitted. So we're anticipating something towards the end of January.
Okay, thank you. And that's it for budget.
Okay, anybody else have questions? No, all right. Oh, sorry, was that a question? No. All right, moving along, we'll go to PEP, Planning, Evaluation, and Policy with Laurel Goodgen. Laurel? Laurel, are you there? Did you unmute? Laurel?
I don't know if I see her.
Did she drop?
She's with Lisa, but I don't think they can hear you.
Oh, Lisa, can you
I think they're
unmute?
muted. Yeah, they're muted.
Just unmuted them.
There we go.
There we go. Okay, Laurel. The floor is yours.
Yeah, hi there. Laurel here. For the PEP committee, I just wanted to report that we had 2 meetings working on the job description for the library board. I think it's more important to devote time tonight for Lisa's report on the library director evaluation, and she has another report coming up. So let's talk about the job description at the meeting in January. Thank you.
Okay. Laurel, were you going to, or I guess Lisa Jones, sorry, you get me confused here for a moment. Too many Lisas. Actually, not too many, but confusing. Okay. So we'll postpone the trustee job description till next month.
Yeah.
And then
Yes.
the next item would be the library director evaluation. So I don't know, if, Lisa, you want to go ahead and speak
Sure.
to that at this point? Thank you.
I can, yes. So I sent out earlier today, this morning, a copy of the library director evaluation form. And there's just a few things to note. First of all, this is going to be our trial year for actually getting this done. Lisa and I have reviewed this, and many other board members have reviewed this, so that we think we have a good foundation for an evaluation. So one of the things that I just wanted to start off with is that this gives the guidelines for a what the competencies are for a library director in the categories. I'm just pulling up my notes here. Hang on. For the categories of the Board of Trustee relationships, the policy development and organizational growth, admin and HR management, financial management and legal compliance, customer service and community relations, and then professional development and relationships. So those are the key components of the library director's evaluation. And what that will do is provide us with the guardrails, so to speak. So it will allow us to have the what is the least competent, and then what's the most, what is excelling, and anything in between. So it's a 1 to 5 rating that you would give for each category, each subset of the category. And I was going to pull this up if I can share my screen if that's helpful, so that when I'm going through that, is that okay to do?
I would think.
Are you reading from the form that you sent out, emailed earlier today?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because we could follow along with it. I mean, I
Okay.
think.
Yeah. It doesn't allow me to. It doesn't allow me to share screen
Okay,
share.
so just we'll follow along with the forms that you sent out.
Okay, that sounds great. Hang on.
If you want, I can give you access so you can share it.
Oh, okay. That would be
Does
great.
that make it easier?
Yeah, that does make it easier.
Okay, hold on. Give me a second.
Yes, I am. She's gonna let me share it anyway. So yeah, so I think that'll be easier.
This is Anna, I have a question. While we're waiting for Lisa Jones to get access, I'm looking at this, and this is all well and good, but in some instances, you know, I would not feel comfortable rating Lisa on financial management and legal compliance, since I'm not doing anything with the finances with her and would have no knowledge of whether or not she's you know, using the financial what tools you know, soundly or effectively. You know, there's no box here to say not applicable.
Yeah.
In my role.
So, Anna, what in the past, or anyone in the past years, how have you handled that? That was always part of the
You should be able to share your screen now. Do you want to give it a try?
Sure, thank you.
Yep.
In the past, I would put an NA there.
Okay. Then I guess then we would have to, you know, that's a good point. We would have to evaluate then what the what we would need to do. I'm sorry, I'm looking for my copy of it.
And I just want to be clear, it's library director evaluation, not library direction evaluation, right?
Library director, correct.
Yeah.
Can everyone see my screen?
I can, well, I've got it in front of me.
Nope, you can't, right?
Hey, Diane?
Yes?
Can I add something? Because I think Lisa and I had a discussion about this.
Of course.
I guess I was thinking when we were talking about it too, it was looking at, you know, as far as the, you know, as far as it affects you, I mean, it's really working on the budget, setting the budget, and the accounting practices is how are we spending the money, you know, within the accounting practices that is assigned by the town. I mean, so that's kind of what when Lisa and I were talking about it, you know, as far as you're concerned, I mean, I do work with you guys on the budget, and you are aware of what the budget is, and you're involved in the budget, and then also administering the budget that we get from the town. So I guess that's where, if you were to judge me, it would be on that part. I mean, you don't know what we do, you know, all the minute stuff, and I don't have any involvement in your financial stuff at all. So that would be nothing you would want to judge me on anyway. But I mean, I was looking at the financial practices. Are we following the rules of the town? You know, from your understanding too, because so.
Right. So I think it is, you know, your library budget. And we know that you get monies from different areas, and I know that you've juggled things around at different times from different areas to try to make things work, as budget is a forecast of what's going to happen. And if anybody could have figured out that we would need so much virtual programming this year, kudos to them. But I guess it's a matter of, listening and partaking in the meetings and knowing. I don't think we're all going to get a spreadsheet that says, here's the budget and it was $100 and, she came in at $99.99. So that's great budget management.
Right. No.
I think it's partaking of the meetings, finding out what's going on. We know what happens with the budget, right? We have a budget committee that works with it. We hear reports and go through. So is the sense that it's there or not? We're not asking everybody to be a CPA and go through. And maybe it's too detailed and we can't answer it at that point. But again, this is, I think, an excellent representation of what's going on. Is it perfect at this point? Maybe not. So this is the first year that this is out the gate. So let's try to work with it and let's try to bring things up like that. For the finances, we're not comfortable. We don't know how to do that, or how do we find that? So
this is Anna again. I would make the same comment on the section 3 with HR management. I mean, I would not know what Lisa's doing behind the scenes in terms of managing the staff. I mean, I know the staff is there. I know, someone assigns their schedule, but, I don't have firsthand observation on all of that interaction going on.
So I guess then the takeaway from this, Anna, it's a good point. Let's think about if you're not comfortable or you feel you don't have the information that you need to make the evaluation, what is the appropriate thing to do? So I think that we need to just address that. I'll take it as a takeaway, and Lisa, Masten and I can discuss it further and just figure out the best way to move it going forward. It's a good point, Anna. Thank you.
Thank you.
So the whole idea here is, as you can see, they're based on marginal effective outstanding, and I did change the verbiage to match throughout. So but there's also, it's a 1 to 5 rating scale. So and how this is going to be rolled out potentially, Lisa, I know, is going to talk with Keith Chapman and find out what the time frame is, and this is just a timeline that allows us to have a benchmark on how long it would take us. So about 60 days to get this completed is the way that I have it here. Again, this is my best guess. I don't know if this is a reasonable amount of time for everything or not, but I think we can test it out and see. And if we need a few more days or less days here and there, then we'll adjust it for next year. So just ask for your leniency, so to speak, in getting this updated and using it. So just another thing to point out is, and so I guess on that note as well, I can let you know, or someone will let you know, that there is when we should begin this evaluation, but start to look through it and really test it and then send me feedback. That's the best way to do it. That way it gets it done. You feel like you've had some input into the library director's evaluation. There is, and I'll go through just the logistics of the spreadsheet again, but there's, if we just try it out, and again, please know, I have no pride of authorship, and no, I send all your critiques and criticisms. That's fine, and we'll figure out the best way to make sure that all these things are addressed. So just one quick thing on the logistics. This is a quick link, so you can control on this link right here, control click, and it will take you just to that specific section of the document, just to be a little fancy about things. So how I initiated this was, I really took the current library director's evaluation form and some of the key characteristics of it, crosswalked it with the current library director's form, job description. And then also looked at I believe it was the effective or essential. I'm looking at Laurel because best practices. And so crosswalked it between some of those to use some of that verbiage and language. And what I did was I took what it would be effective. So this 3 column where it's effective. And then I just added the wording to what would not be what would be marginal rating, and then added the outstanding rating. So you can, take a look at the effective, and that's what we want. We want an effective leader, which we know Lisa is. So, and so you can put a rating in here. You can put what your answer is on each line item. Anna, that would get to how I was thinking that we could tally it up, but if we have NAs, I need to rethink that. So here's the opportunity where you can subtotal. And then the last thing that I want to mention is that there is room for comments, which is if you're going to put a 5 or a 1, I would think that should be accompanied by a comment. There's no reason. There's got to be a reason why you're rating in that way. So there would be a reason to comment, or any other reason you want. Comments are all good, and with examples are even better. The very last page of this is just a tally, so to speak. And again, I'll caveat it with, if we put an A in, it's not really going to, I got to just figure it out how we would be able to do this. Maybe it's an average, I'm not sure, but we could figure that part out as we move along. So just any quick questions or comments. I don't want to take up the whole meeting.
I just had one question. Neil, when are the board members required to submit the evaluation back to you? Time frame?
Well, we're sort of backing into the date when Keith Chapman needs this. So I'll go back to the timeline, Neil, just to show you again. So the library director develops action plan. Oh, that's actually evaluation is provided to the town manager. So we're backing up when Keith Chapman needs it 40 days less than that. So once we get that information, and it's, we'll figure it out from there.
Okay.
So if you want to start working on it now, that's fine too, yeah. But it's, so more to come, I guess is the.
Okay. It's a nice document. I mean, it's all encompassing. It includes everything. It's nicely done. It's nicely put together.
Thank you.
I think it is a great improvement over the previous document, and I'm hoping that it at least gives new board members an idea of what's expected of library directors and part of that relationship. I know when I was new and I came on, it was very difficult for me to, actually score because I hadn't been part of the board long enough when I was there. So even for new members, if you want to go through and read this and figure out what's happening, I think Anna's points of we need to have a way to say NA or I'm not part of that. And maybe we need to find a way to be able to communicate or figure out which parts of these we really need to communicate. And I know that different positions on the board, the different trustees interact with the, I'll say the office of the library differently. A treasurer interacts differently than some others. A budget chair might interact differently than some others to be able to answer those finance questions. But then there might be some other questions that go in there. So again, thank you. This was a lot of work, and I think it is leaps and bounds better than what we had before. And like any document, it's better the more we can live with it and tweak it. So I appreciate your efforts there.
Thank you. Evergreen. So yeah, just we'll keep improving.
Yeah. Lisa, I think this LeeAnn here. I think this document is, as Diane said, leaps and bounds. I know that you'll tweak it. You're going to address some of these concerns, but I think if this is what we're going to utilize for this particular evaluation period, I think that the place that someone who has concerns about not having knowledge about a particular question or section can address it under comments and say why they didn't address it. And that way you could have the response why they didn't address 1.2 2 or whatever because they don't feel comfortable. That would be the way that we can give you that feedback. And that might also give you some input as to which questions are the ones that really are the sticking points
Right.
for
Right.
people.
Yeah, that's a good point, LeeAnn. Yeah, thank you. Good thought, Mother.
This is Maureen. To your point, Diane, about, when you were new and not feeling comfortable or not having enough knowledge to evaluate correctly. For example, Lisa, would you know this, Lisa Masten, are we looking at a time frame in a month or 2 months that this needs to be done?
I don't think it's going to be in a month. I really don't. I mean, I will reach out to Keith this week now that you've talked about this and see if he has a general idea, and then we can give that, I can give that information back to Lisa.
Well, my comment would be, from my own experience, maybe somebody who's brand new on the board, a month or 2 months, shouldn't even participate in this exercise.
Maybe.
So
how can you do it competently?
Right. And I think it's fine to put in the comments, I've attended one board meeting. I'm a new, board member. I'm not familiar enough to be able to, fill out the form competently. And then that doesn't, trustees' lack of knowledge doesn't, ding the overall response.
Right.
What I would like is I would like everybody to go through it this month so that at next month's meeting, we can identify any areas that we're kind of unclear on or as I think LeeAnn coined the term, the sticky points, the things that you're not quite sure what they're saying or you don't know. And if, several of us don't know, I mean, part of the board's responsibility is to understand how things are going and what's happening.
Right. Lisa Jones, this is a marvelous document. And I thank you for all your hard work. I do think we all need to examine it. It's
I agree.
So much better than what we had. My initial thought is, though, that this is maybe a little too granular.
Could be.
For our purposes. This to me is something that that Keith would be looking at in great detail, this type of document in evaluating his direct reports, having a much different viewpoint on, for instance, the financial piece of it. This is just preliminary. I mean, I've only just looked at this very briefly, and I'm not disparaging it, but it may need to be tweaked from my vantage. But one person's opinion.
I agree. No, I think you're dead on, Maureen. And this is first blush. We're ready to go. Diane, I love your idea about having it done. And any comments and feedback to me before the next board meeting. And then we can, I can accumulate some of those and we can talk about it then. I like that idea. I think that probably makes more sense than just putting it out there.
Yeah,
well, we
the other
thing consider it a test run. Sorry.
The other thing that occurs to me is that we don't have the timing, as Lisa Masten will check to see when it is due to Keith. But we've had years where it's due in April, and then the former town manager, all of a sudden it was done in January and we were out of the loop.
Right.
So I think the earlier the better, so that you have the information.
I agree.
I was also just thinking that maybe there should be a little caveat that says a board member, I think we have to, I heard you talk about it. I think that a board member has to be on the board certainly more than a month before they could participate in this type of an evaluation.
Yeah, so let's do a test run. Let's have everybody work through this, fill it out, and just kind of highlight those areas where you felt very comfortable with the question, or, you know, really not able to come up with an answer. And I think that will give us two things. One, that will give us a form that at the supervisory level, or you know, the one step back that the trustees are from the everyday operation, as opposed to a town manager would be, that we could answer things accordingly that way. And it will help us know how to move forward, what really makes sense for us, and how do we find the answers to that information if we feel that it's important, right? I'm just thinking, you know, how does personnel know? I may not know how everybody at the library feels, but the fact that we have somebody that's been with the library for 9 years and is looking to go for an MLS and is looking for a permanent job, that to me means that the work environment there is good, you know, for that person. Is it good for everyone? I don't know. But as you see that more and more people looking inside to stay and to grow in the program. So maybe we have to parse it up, right? We have to think while we're on the meetings, what's going on when we hear the monthly reports and the other things. Where does that go from how I might have to score something at the end of the year?
Right. That's another, yeah. It's so how do we become better trustees,
Yeah,
basically.
actively listen, right?
Mhm,
Okay.
mhm.
Well, thank
Got
you,
it.
everybody. Appreciate that. Next up, and Heather, you might want to take the control back, but next up is the investment report with Neil Ryan. Neil?
Yes. I mailed out.
So if she could, I'm sorry, if I could just stop you for a second. So if she could stop with the screen share.
It just did.
Just did? Okay, perfect. And I'll share mine and then resume. Okay, can everyone see the slide?
Yes. So investment Neil Ryan would be the next one down. There you go.
Yes, I emailed out 2 reports, I think yesterday. First to report, our portfolio balance through November 30th of 2020 stands at $722,495.49. November was a very, very good month for our portfolio. If you see, we were up $46,297.57. So for the year, at least through November 30th, we're up a little over 7% for the year, which I think is really impressive when you consider what we went through February and March. So overall, we're doing well. Now that's just an update of the investment committee monthly report. The second report I sent out deals with the December 8th meeting that the investment committee had with Dean, our financial advisor. I sent that report out. I don't know if you all looked at it, but the key points that we came away with are that we've got about $58,000 in cash in our portfolio, and we're looking to try and move that into some of our existing funds. And that's probably going to be done beginning sometime in mid-January. And the second point is that, well, LeeAnn referred to it earlier about our money market account, or we'll call it the non-investment account. If there's any places we can put some of that money where it might earn a little higher interest rate. We're talking about, well, LeeAnn mentioned it, it's worth $106,000. We were talking about moving maybe 25 to 30,000. And as LeeAnn explained, Dean is going to look into possible areas we can move that money. So it's that and the investing of our cash. The third point is a regulatory matter. InvestiCorp, which is the company that Kingston contracts with for their compliance requirements. They're merging with a company called Securitas America. And what that means is our existing account number will be retired and a new account number will need to be created. And that's going to be done electronically. And I think that Dean's office has sent out the information for the electronic signatures, I believe. I know Diane, LeeAnn, myself.
I did. I'm done.
Yeah, so that's moving along. And that's just an administrative change. It doesn't change anything about our portfolio, where we have our money, how much we have. So it's not it's a simple matter, really. And the thing, as of December 8th, when we met last Tuesday, between the end of November and December 8th, we had a good run, because through December 8th, our portfolio is up 9.23% for the year. Very good. And those are the highlights of the two reports. Questions?
Great.
Donations?
Any questions for Neil?
Well, the only comment that I will make is that I think Kingston Wealth Management is doing a fantastic job for us. And I feel very secure with them handling our investments, as well as their associate Rob Mathis handling our accounting. I'm very impressed with them.
We were all impressed with them, absolutely, in every way. Yes. That's it. That's it. We're a happy investment committee.
Great. Great. Thank you. Appreciate that. And I agree. I think Dean and the two of you are doing a great job. So thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is House Committee Report with Laurel Goodgen.
No report this month. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And moving on to Facility and Site with Maureen Lyons.
Maureen's on mute.
She's getting there.
How do you tell someone who's on mute that they're on mute?
As we heard in the beginning, I had asked Dave Nagel if there was any movement with that consultant's report on the town facilities, and there hasn't been. The town council has no information as of yet. So that's where we stand. As far as the nitty-gritty with Facility and Site, and this really is Diane's little baby. Way back when we were doing, all the approvals with the TPZ and the parking lot, et cetera, drawing approvals, we thought everything was in tip-top shape. And as it turns out, the town clerk can't accept drawings that we used for TPZ and for construction. So according to Gary Furstenberg, they didn't anticipate the need for filing the drawings with the town clerk. So in effect, things have to be, we have to get new drawings. They have to be signed off by the original creators, et cetera, et cetera. And we're anxious to close the loop on this. And I would like Diane to elaborate a little, please.
Sure. So the good news is that we've been trading some emails and some conversations between James and Gary and Keith. And the last communication I had from Keith was that he was going to look into this. So we have to figure out how we can legally file the final paperwork. So there's nothing wrong with the parking lot at this point. There's nothing wrong with anything else. But if you remember, we had several things that were moved around, the dumpsters, several changes to the original plans, changes that made sense. And so this end piece was just documenting the changes and trying to file them. And we had been working off, I guess, a PDF document of the plans and not the original plans from the architect. So that's what has to be figured out and filed.
Yeah, I guess we need, a live seal from the surveyor, the engineer, and the architect. So it's a matter of hunting those people down, I guess.
Yeah, so Keith is on it, and I'm sure he'll let me know what the result is. And if he doesn't let me know, I will, in the next couple of days, I'll reach out to him again and see what progress he's made.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions from anyone else? No? Thank you. We're going to move on to fund development with Anna Eddy.
Thank you, Diane. The first thing I want to say is a thank you to LeeAnn for diligently making masks since this COVID started, and I'm going to embarrass her now. And what I I got an email that said, so she's been making masks and donating them to the Child Advocacy Center in Vermont. And is it your sister or sister-in-law?
Sister.
So her sister.
My sister is the director, and she operates with a grant, and she can't use her grants to buy PPE for the kids who come in who are abused. So that I made masks.
So LeeAnn made masks, and we were the beneficiaries of a donation in LeeAnn's name, a $300 donation in LeeAnn's name to the library. So that was a roundabout way, but thank you, and thank your sister on our behalf. The other thing I want to bring up is the email I sent out yesterday with the flyer for to promote the Legacy Society. And I did get some very good input, and I think the majority of the board members liked what they saw. There were a couple of corrections noted, which I've made. And my big question to everyone is that, do you feel that this is a standalone document? This is going to be used as an insert, I'm hoping, with the footnotes. So I don't think with that anything else has to be added. But if we mailed it to those people who donated during the Ready, Set, Go giveaway, do you think it's necessary to add something, either a separate cover letter or something on the back? I'm just winging it here. I'm not a fund development expert. I'm just feeling my way through all of this.
Anna, speaking for myself, if I have an email that I have to open a document, I'm less likely. I'd rather just see this as the email.
No, I'm talking about a physically mailed item.
A physical mailer, okay.
So I'm thinking that if it goes with the footnotes, it doesn't require anything else. I mean,
I would agree.
I would agree.
And we could almost even, create a PDF of it and put it on the library, our web page for fund development. And maybe as we do others, we can have a series of them. But if if I can get myself organized enough to pull together the list for those people who donated, for the giveaway, we could do it I'm thinking we could do it one or two ways. The people in the giveaway, if I can come up with the mailing list, maybe they could also get the footnotes along with this insert, one-time option only, or we do a separate mailing in an envelope, which would, with the flyer, with a cover letter that, with a few very short lines, thinking of you during this holidays. Thank you so much for helping us get through this year. And we hope that you think of us in the future.
During tax season.
Anna, I think this is a terrific piece. And I think it's just enough. And I love the way you use the photographs to make it so personal.
Is that Laurel saying that?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Laurel.
If I could just chime in, Beth, here. I really liked the document. I thought it said everything you need to say. And I always vote for, less is more, keep it short. I like the idea of an insert in the footnotes, because you already have the person's attention with the piece. So is it in one page, one side?
Very good, thank you.
I just had a comment, observation, but it's kind of odd. In the picture of Mary Wells Eddy, she looks a lot like Judy Igelski in that picture. What that means.
She'll have to go on ancestry.com and figure out what her genealogy is.
Footnotes is perfect, yeah. But I noticed that she looks a lot like Judy.
Okay. Too bad Judy's not on the call.
Chris. Hi.
Hi, Chris.
I would recommend, if you put it in the footnotes, to put it on the back page. So it's the last thing they see. and not hide it within, because sometimes people flip through and,
It would be a separate page. It would be a standalone insert.
so it's going to be a separate page.
Yes.
Yeah, a flyer,
Oh, okay.
an insert flyer, yeah.
Diane, can I just ask a question and you can all say that I'm, the only thing that when I was looking at it is,
Just one tap.
Whoever's searching needs to go on mute. Okay, Lisa.
just at the bottom where the contact information is, I don't know if it'd be possible, and maybe it's just looking at it differently, if the box, because if the box is movable and have that centered on the box, because to me it's a little distracting to read
I can make the box bigger, wider.
Yeah, I think it would be, I just think it would, that information would stand out a little bit more, because it's a little distracting where half is in and some of it's not.
No worries, I can do that. I mean,
I think it looks, yeah, I think it looks really nice, Anna. I think it's nice. That was just to me a little distracting, but I like I mean, it's really more impressive too when you see it in color. I mean, I have a black and white in front of me, but unfortunately, unless you want that to have it printed in color, it's not going to be a color document, because, well, that's a lot, because that's like a ream of paper not the paper as much as the ink for us to print 100, 500 or 400 copies. So it would be on a colored paper unless you want to have it printed.
That's a good thought. I kind of agree with you that it would be impressive. I think it would be more of a standout item if it was white paper with, green
colored ink,
and colored ink.
Right.
I don't know, is this something that we want to think about sending over to Staples to print for us on a gloss, a more high-end paper rather than the standalone?
Well, even if you printed it on standalone, it's just more impressive in a color ink than it is black and white. So
I don't know what the charge for that would be at Staples.
We could find out tomorrow and let you know. I don't know. I'm not sure what they charge for color copies. I mean, maybe I can look it up while you guys are talking if you want and see.
Okay, so in color, it would just be the two colors, right? The black and the gold?
It's green, black, and gold.
Yeah, it'd be green and gold.
That's 3 colors, right?
Yeah.
So you might want to consider 2 colors as opposed to 3 colors when you're looking at pricing. Look at both.
Well, it would just be more of it would be like a color photocopy. That's really what it would be, probably.
Okay. I agree with the movement of the box. I think that was one of the comments that I had sent to you, Anna. And we just need to make sure that fax number is updated.
It's been updated, and I can just say, in Publisher, they have templates, and I just used the template and didn't adjust it. So I can make that change easy enough.
Great. Okay. And one other comment that I had is I don't know if it makes sense to put this, maybe not as an attachment, but in the body of an email. And I don't know if it would work well in that format or not, but that would be an inexpensive way if we have emails from the Ready, Set, Go folks. We might get a little bit more bang if we put it in the mail, but these are just thoughts for this flyer or other flyers.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that would work because we use the registration service, for the 5K race to do the mailings.
Mm-hmm.
And now that particular race is shut down, or that the event is shut down.
All right. It was just a thought that we could reach some folks electronically rather than having a postage stamp, if we're going to set it out separately.
So I'll talk to Lisa about some of these distribution options and see what she's comfortable with.
Okay. Just a thought.
Yep. Thank you.
Yep. Again, Anna, I think it's a excellent looking document. And we appreciate all the work you put into that. Does anyone else have questions or comments on the fund development in general or this particular flyer?
No, but I do have one comment just in general for those who were perhaps looking for a unique or a different opportunity. One of the things that was passed with tax relief for the COVID situation was a few years back when they changed the donation aspect of your tax, itemization, et cetera. A lot of people have gone to not itemizing because of the changes in the tax laws a few years back. When they passed the COVID relief, they did a one-time for this year. You have an additional $300 you can give donations for 2020 that can be reported whether you itemize or not. Just putting it out there, if people have some money that they want to put toward, they could take that deduction.
Nice to have a bookkeeper around. Thank you, LeeAnn. Any other questions? No, we'll move down to nominations with Maureen.
No report.
Thank you. Communications, Lisa Jones.
Hi again. So from a communications perspective, I noted last month that we met in late November and we're developing a communication plan that was going to focus on a monthly message, a delivery, what was the delivery mechanism, and then a content calendar. So what was the content going to be? So that's a work in progress. We've yet to have another meeting, which is due to be scheduled. And so what I'd like to suggest is that I have a communication plan in writing that I can present to the board for our January meeting. We are looking at having and focusing on for 2021 the awareness campaign. So it's really about focusing on the things that the library does on a day-to-day basis, despite the things that are hindrances, so lack of space and all of the other things. So what we're trying to do is balance the message in looking at the things that are going really well, that the library does well, despite those hindrances or the things that make it more challenging for the library to operate. For instance, COVID, how are we going to be operating within the COVID and continue to operate within the COVID environment? And so some of the other examples would be technology. So what is we use the library for technology, or the patrons use it for technology, and we don't have access to the computers, or there is not regular interaction necessarily, or easier interaction if you're sitting in the library where there's people that can answer the phone, answer technology questions for you and things of that nature. So how do we talk about a topic of the month, so to speak? And I did mention last month that we would have a message of the month, so that the board would have an elevator speech, and we will do that. So the calendar will look as though it will have and I'm reading my notes here, that's why I'm turning my head, the messaging, the delivery mechanism, what the content calendar is, and then what our elevator speech will be included in that. And again, we'll focus on 2020 is the awareness of what's going on in the library for the community, for the patrons, for the businesses in town, and also our town leaders. So that's that component of it. And then Anna and I were talking this morning, and Anna had an idea about a communication vehicle using the Chamber of Commerce has an opportunity, or they provide an opportunity to kind of showcase businesses. But I'm going to let Anna, if you're still there, Anna, to talk through what you talked with Michelle about.
Yeah, so Michelle Royer, who is the community liaison for the library and staff, And she's on the chamber board of directors, and she made this suggestion to me. And the chamber runs a Meet a Member Monday, and the library happens to be a member of the chamber. And what we could do is do a Zoom interview, which would last 5-6 minutes. So it would be short. We would probably need a script. And we could do it a couple of ways. We could do it jointly with the Friends, where we are highlighting our fundraising efforts together, or we could do ours separately, focus on the dining partner programs, and maybe touch base a little bit on the curbside services and some other things that the library is doing for the community, and the things that are on the YouTube channel and all of that. And the Friends could promote what they are doing with the book sale and whatever other fundraisers they have going on. And then it would be recorded, and the chamber would post it on their webpage for Meet a Member Monday. It could also be sent over to NCTV. I wish it was. No, CPTV doesn't want us competing with them. And we could even put it on our own YouTube channel if we get a copy of it. So there's some options here, and there's some flexibility. We would be doing this with one person from the chamber who would be the host, and we would just designate who's going to be on the call, and we could either do it during the daytime or early evening if this is something Diane should be in, or Maureen, whoever wants to be in on it. So just I talked to Lisa this morning about it because she's chair of communications, and I thought that this was the right place for it.
Yeah. Great. Thanks, Anna. Always thinking.
Oh, I can't take any credit for it. This is all Michelle.
All Michelle. Okay. We'll thank Michelle.
She's great.
She is, yeah. And then the last part of the communications piece is that I want to mention is just what's happened in the past month. So a communication was sent to the press release was sent to the New Britain Herald, the Newington Life, and the Rare Reminder. A thank you for the Ready, Set, Go giveaway for this month. The plan is to get the next release out to related to the Dining Partners program for 2021. So we will actually have another letter going to the press. So the idea is that we would have something each month that goes out, and so people continue again to develop awareness of the things that are going on at the library. So we'll continue to evaluate, and it'll probably go along with the message of the month. But that's what's happened in the past few weeks. And just there was a publication in early November, and I neglected to tell this at the last meeting, a publication in early November related to the Ready, Set, Go giveaway. It was talking about the giveaway itself and just how it had been offered.
Great. Thank you. Any other questions for Lisa on communications? Again, excellent job. Sounds like you're keeping busy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
No
this is
worries.
Ann again. So how do we want to proceed with that meet a chamber member Monday thing?
Well, and I can call Michelle and get it started, and then as I always say, I'm going to call you if I need you. So I'll tap you on the shoulder. How's that?
Sounds good.
Okay.
Great. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Anna. All right, moving along, old business, open board positions. We do still have one corporate and one town Republican committee position open. Laurel and I did have the pleasure of speaking to someone who we thought would make a good corporate candidate, and like all good, responsible, busy people, she took a moment to look at her calendars and her other commitments and felt that right now she couldn't give time to the library. She loved the library, but did not feel that she could join at this point. So we still have those two positions open. If anybody knows of anyone that they're interested in or not, if you could reach out to Laurel as chair of PEP to pass the names on, that would be great. And then the Town of Newington 150th anniversary is next up. I don't have any updates on that. I don't know if anybody else does. Dave or Chris, I don't know if you're still on there.
I'm still here. I don't know of any updates that I'm aware of. I don't know if Dave does with his wife being on the committee.
No, I haven't heard anything new.
Okay, thank you. And then under new business, we'll move along to the new business, and fingers crossed, everybody. The road race for 2021 is currently scheduled for Sunday, May 16th, which is the traditional Sunday after Mother's Day in May. We don't know what this year will bring us, but certainly we're going to look to start gearing up to see maybe what we could do or what will happen in that area. So get your vaccines. As soon as they're ready, let's hope that that's one of the answers for us. Anybody have questions or comments about the 5K race next year? I know it's a big question mark at this point.
This is Anna. I just want to let the board know that letters did go out to all of last year's sponsors. And we do have 2 sponsors coming back at the gold level. Our challenge this year is to find a hosting sponsor because we no longer have Keeney Manufacturing. So if anyone knows a business that's got some deep pockets, it would be very much appreciated.
And they get their spot on the front of the t-shirt.
They do.
Okay. All right, anyone else has questions or comments on the road race? No? All right, public participation. Heather, I don't know if
Diane,
any...
before
Yes?
you move forward, I just want to mention the dining partner program for 2021 that we are working on that, working with Michelle, Pauline and Lisa Jones and Daryl Google from the Friends are helping with the phone calls to follow up. It's a challenging year for restaurants. We do have about a dozen who are coming back, but you know, like I said, they're struggling. So it might be a smaller group of dining partners this year, but you know, we can just keep going forward.
Right, everybody's trying to support as many local businesses as they can.
Diane, I just wanted to, I quickly checked Pronto printers that I think they do color copies for 10 cents a copy.
Is that good? Anybody know?
That's good.
That's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Should we go that method?
I could also check with Paladin Printers, who does our footnotes. Maybe he would give us a break too. I can check tomorrow with him.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate you being able to do that so quickly.
Diane, excuse me, it's Anna again. Do we want to consider making a motion for the expenditure to keep it under $50, or is this?
Sure. Would that cover it?
Well, based on what?
I'd rather say, you know, 60 or 75 if we know that, you know, we need to cover it.
Well, I'll make a motion that we allocate $60 for to cover the cost of color printing for the Legacy Society insert flyer.
I'll second LeeAnn.
Thank you, LeeAnn. Any questions or discussion? No, then all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Thank you, ladies. You have approval to print in color. All right, now we'll circle back around to public participation. Heather, did you have anybody on the line that looks like they're from the public?
Yeah, no, I don't see anyone on the line right now.
That usually makes public participation go very quickly. All right. Well, looking for the final motion of the evening then. Will someone give us a motion to adjourn?
I so move.
Thank you, Iris. Second?
Second.
You have your pick. I think that was Christine that I saw first. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any
Merry
opposed?
Christmas.
Thank you, everyone. Enjoy the holidays.
Merry
Appreciate everyone's
Christmas.
time and work on this.
Thank you, everybody.